it's so handy for chucking the odd sheep in, and I've got the dogs on, so it makes it easier to get out there with everyone. It's better to gather in the drizzle than it is in the hot weather. We find that the sheep do not want to walk out with you in the hot weather. They will just they will just stay where they want to stay. It's a lot harder work for everyone. So I just caught Dad and Becca up here at the gate. They're literally just shutting the gate to start to drive off. Beck stopped and opened the gate for me. So you can see there's a few sheep here. They just have to excuse a bit of the footage, it is very rough. So like I said, there's a few sheep here. They're staying here. So we're going to drive out over and have a look out towards the steep in the river. So this is where majority of everything lies. Just out over here we got some more cows out here. Becca and Dad are down there in front of me. They came around the outside a little bit more. So we've just stopped with Dad and let Peg out. I have got Max in. Not that he's quite come to the sheep yet, but when Peg gets tired, it will at least be a dog to be out and about to make the sheep keep moving. We've got some sheep up ahead. You can't see it because of the fog that we've got coming. They're just there on top of that ridge. That's where I'm heading, but I might have to go up and around because it gets very dippy here. Now you can just about see through the wet glass. There's a few sheep there. Becca's on the other side. She crossed the river down at the bottom and has gone up through the rough. There is several sheep there above her and some further closer to the wall. So Dad and Becca will go around and surround that, and they'll bring them across to this left-hand side here, and they'll come down a track if they can get the sheep to go the way they'd like to go. A couple of them are starting to run down, so hopefully they know it's time to come in. So, quick update. I had a radio call through from Bex to say that the sheep that they were following crossed back across the river. So I went back down to drive them, and we had a ewe and lamb run down and followed them but a bit behind. The ewe and lamb, or the ewe, decided that she didn't want to walk after running down. So I managed to grab her and eventually chucked her in the back, and the lamb I grabbed and he's in. So they're both in the back. Max is in the front with me now. I've just caught up with the few here that I was following originally. The ewes that were sat out on this piece, I believe they must have walked around. They're pretty good that when they know something's happening, they do start to move. You might not be able to see it. Just down, literally just at the bottom of this here, just there is a little few bunch of ewes coming across, and there is some out on another track. Dad and Becca, I believe, are that side. I saw them at the top of the tor just as I was trying to load the ewe. So I believe they must be following them down. That's the piece where they cross. Ooh, large stone there. So they'll come down across and they'll join up with these few here, and then these walk around the side of the hill. As you can see, it's getting foggy. I think it's actually coming in rather than going out. But we'll see. Sometimes the weather does surprise us and it does lift, which does help. There, you can just about see that little bunch now, just coming up onto our ground. There's still a few on the other side. You can't quite see them because of the mist. Thank you, Max. don't see a bike at the minute driving around, unless they're down below where those sheep are. Don't know if we can see any better out in the drizzle. So there's those few sheep there, and as you can see across the side of the hill there's a few more. Like I said, I don't see a bike as of yet. Oh, that might be a bike further up. That little black dot, but it might not be. This is the hardest thing when the weather comes in. You can't see, oh there they are, up the track. Just, I don't know if my phone will let me, just there. Just coming in with some sheep. So they're just coming down from that tor. I would say they have a few slow ones. There's another bunch, if you can just about see out to their right, or their left, our right. They're coming down a track. I only see one bike at the minute, which makes me feel that Dad has gone the opposite way, or Becca. You can never tell when they're out here. But yeah, the weather is definitely not going to be kind to us today. But I'd rather this than the baking sunshine, because that does take some sticking at the minute. So I've just been radioing through to Becca and Dad. Becca is somewhere, my finger's not gonna, somewhere up here. She's somewhere up in that steep. That ground there that Becca is in, you can't drive on. You can't even ride a horse on. I believe many years ago Becca did take the horse over it, but it literally drops to their belly. It's so rough out that side. But it's hard to walk on. So she is over there trying to scare some of the sheep out across the left of the steep and some back towards where Dad is. I don't know if you can quite see the bike. Dad is just in here. If we can, just about, there's the sheep running up now. Dad is just back here somewhere with the bike. I can't actually find him now. There he is walking. There's two sheep above it. No, that's the bike. Don't panic. The sheep that Dad pushed across, they're over here. They're just, the last few are just walking over. But there's no point me going down and interrupting, because these sheep that Dad's pushing will only come down over to these. I haven't seen anything yet come out from what Becca is scaring.
There's a bunch of sheep I found in the wall back along to the corner below Citizen. I got two right in the bottom just stood looking at me.
So we can see a little bit better now. It's got a bit closer. Let me just... the sheep there are just running along the side. Becca and Dad have picked up their bikes. They've come out the steep now, and they're going to run them all the way across that little valley there. And then they're going to come across the river here. And they'll come across. I have got a ewe and a lamb just down here that hasn't decided to move, but hopefully in a minute they'll pick up. I can't see anything now that the fog is clearing. I can't see anything in the steep. Becca and Dad were over here. They were in this piece just before this next gully, but I can't actually see anything around the steep, which will be nice. Dad will probably run down over this track here, and he'll cross the river down here in the bottom, and he'll probably pop up because, oh, there's one in the bottom. He'll actually, that could be a stone. I keep threatening that I'm going to come out with some orange marker or something and mark some of the stones that seem to trick us, because every year we have a couple stones that you think are a sheep. So Becca and Dad have now come back across and joined me. The mist has started to lift a bit now. Becca's just gone left, gone higher side. Dad's just going lower side. So that's the gully over there that Becca and Dad started in, and they brought them down and brought them across that side of the hill. That's the steep there in front of us. You can take the bike all the way up to where the old water track is. Not that you can quite see it in the detail. There is a few sheep just on that edge, like just below the clouds and the mist. There's a few bunch of sheep there on that piece of steep. Dad's just dropping below to see what's there. Becca's gone high to make sure that if anything's gone just over the top that they push on. I'm just following on with these. Any of my sheep that have been here waiting around, they've walked on now. We have been out here before where it's been that foggy that we've only been able to gather what we can see in the majority, and then we come out again on a better day to get the difficult ones, because you can't go driving up round the steep ground when the fog's in. You just can't see anything. Like the last time when we came out gathering, the way that we communicated to each other was we were flashing our lights because you could only just about see that through the fog. So that obviously tells you how thick it can get out here sometimes. So we've just pushed these sheep around to the side. Becca brought a few over that were sat up on the top. So we've driven these around. The ones that we were driving are the ones that are right in the bottom, like on the second hump here. And you can't, bloody finger. Becca and Dad have now dropped down across. They're going down, they'll be on that second lump. They're going to be going across to the edge of the steep. They're just below the clouds. They're going to go just below the clouds there, because there's some sheep there just on the side of the hill. I don't know if my phone will pick them up. There you go. They're going to go over there. They're going to clear that area and bring them back down across the river. We might in a minute see them go across the top. But those sheep will come down and they will literally come along that track there, and then they'll drop right down under here where there is a river, which is where the cows normally like to lie, and then they'll come out and they'll probably pick up somewhere across here. Oh, there they go. Just going across there. I can't go down there with this one. It's just too rough. In my opinion, I don't really like going down there with the bike. It used to be a lot better than what it is now. I would have gone down there, 10 years ago. Maybe not quite 10. Maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I would have gone down there easy with the bike. I wouldn't have had to worry. But I wouldn't take this one down there. It's too big. It's too heavy. At least with a bike, if you start to tip, you can put your foot out and hold yourself and get yourself out of it. But unfortunately, this one is not that agile. This one comes out and about with us simply because it's really handy. We can put the sheep in the back, don't have to worry. The dog is sat in here with me. But yeah, the bikes are a lot more agile across this ground, especially the rough ground. You can just about see them going up the track there. So there's not many places you can get up and down over there. That is the main place that we get up and down, and that is fairly steep to go with the bike. You need to be careful. I myself have only been over there, I say a handful of times gathering. I am normally the one that stays over this side and watches. Becca is very much more the one that will go with Dad out onto the steep with the bikes. She would be a lot more stock orientated, whereas I am a bit more machinery orientated. But yeah, she'll nearly go anywhere that Dad will go with the bike, whereas I am a lot more hesitant. But yeah, there is an... sorry, that was Bex just radioing through, asking if I see anything. We used to just shout across the valley, which was ideal some days. But obviously, as you can guess, on some days when it's windy like it is today and the weather's not so great, it's not so handy. We did used to phone each other, but Dad never managed to get his phone out. And to be perfectly honest, when it's shit weather, it's really hard to answer a touchscreen phone. They don't always like to play ball, and the signal here can be hit and miss. So we use the walkie-talkies. They normally get us across the valleys pretty well. Sometimes you might miss it if you're in the valley, but they are pretty good. We can't hear home. They haven't got that far of a frequency yet. But we can normally get the house just when we're coming up to the patch of Moorland just above the top lane, which is fine. It allows us to radio through and let Mum know that we're nearly home. We're on the last bit of stretch. I just realised that my eyes can see better than my phone can, so I'll sort my phone out for a minute. So there's a little bunch there walking away. Whether they are sheep that aren't ours, they look like they've bunched up to walk out to that wall. The bigger bunch here that they're bringing down look like they could be. They're a bit more spread out. if I'll just catch it. So Becca and Dad are just bringing the sheep down here. Along that track, there is a little bunch of sheep that have just walked out. They have generally just walked through as if it's an open gate. So Becca and Dad will try and keep these down, and they'll try and keep them away from that. They typically do come down and come like up over this where that track is. Sometimes there is another track slightly on the other side, so hopefully they'll come that way. Becca and Dad have just brought their sheep over. Dad has just whizzed off down the track because there is some sheep that have gone off that way. So we've made it over to what I classify as the bowl, simply because from where the gate is to where I am, it's like a big bowl, well, half a bowl I should say. Becca and Dad have gone over that way towards the stones, is what we call it, because literally from the lip that you see of the little few stones, the rest of it all in around there is literally just like a minefield of stones. It's literally like this but twice as worse. Oh, here they come with a bunch. Some of our cows were over here and they decided that they're going to walk back with us. Becca's lower side of me. Dad's higher side. So we're just on the last kind of little bit. I would think we've got a few horses in here that aren't ours. Because Jack looks like he's given them what for. So we're just on the home stretchy bit. Back to the gate. You can nearly see the gate. Becca and Dad have just had to go over to what is Kenny Watson's Newtake, because by the looks of it they said there could be a few sheep inside, but they've got all the cows there. So two of them have gone. Me and Max are just keeping up the sheep to keep them over. The fog has completely come in now. Like, I could see Kenny's Newtake when Becca was first talking about it, now I can't. Jack looks like he's been having a bit of fun with the mares. He's been chasing a couple away, so I would think that we've had a couple get in that aren't ours. The nice thing with the stallions is they do keep their own to their own. They'll try and keep their mares with them. He has lost so much weight. If I was to put up a picture of him now and a picture of what he was when he was in, you wouldn't think it was the same stallion. His son, which is Fievel, he's actually out more. He got branded to be a Moorland stallion. So you're not allowed to just put anything out more. Mare wise you can, as long as it is branded so that you can find the owners and things. For stallions they have to go through like a Dartmoor pony stallion check, I guess you could call it, which is when they have a vet there and they'll look him over, because they can't be too big but they can't be too small. You know, they have to be fully intact, they have to be well on their feet, you know, they have to tick off so many boxes to be able to have this stallion brand, which, not that you won't see it on Jack because he doesn't have one. Max, come here baby boy. But it's a circle with a cross in it, and that is the stallion brand. It's always known. But yeah, these are some of the mares that they're up here by the gate. They've decided now to come over and see. They've probably decided to come over because they don't quite know what Max is. Max, come here, come on. But they're all looking pretty and well. Got a few foals. And that filly there with the white star is one. It's one that we kept from last year. We didn't take her into the Chagford Pony Market. We kept her. But they're looking very pretty. Be soon thinking about doing the pony drifts and everything in October. I know we've only just jumped into to August, as you might see on some of these, on some of the horses. I don't know, you can just about see a little white heart there on their side. I don't know if the bay will be any easier to see. They got a little white heart on the mare's right side. They're on the right side, and that is our mark. That's what we mark for our horses, and then we can tell nice and easily that they're ours. I would say they're all looking very pretty. So Becca brought across 2 herdwicks. The other bunch are just walking down by the trees. So we'll try and make sure that we bring them in with everyone else. And then we'll have a look through the book to see whose they are. The ewes keep wanting to try and walk away. Sometimes they're happy to come in and sometimes they're not. Today they obviously don't fancy it. But they'll come in. Typically they'll be weaned. Ewe lambs might go out, wethers might stay in. Every year kind of differs to what we actually do. Don't see anyone else. You can see the horses there just on the brow, and the cows are here just in the dip. Or some of the cows, I should say. Some of them are still over. But I have noticed that Sailor made her way back. So the horses stayed around us because last winter we did bring out some hay for them. So they were probably thinking that they were going to get lucky again. So we think we finally got them. Dad's informed me that the herdwicks are Jordans. So we're hoping they'll walk in fine with our sheep. Dad's going to go open up the gate and then he's going to stay on in front and we'll bring them behind. Just up the top. I think the sheep are a bit unsure about all the fencing stuff that's out there. But they'll soon walk down around it. The sheep are not wanting to walk on today. Normally they walk on really easily, really fine, but today for some reason they are just wanting to walk as slow and as difficult as they can. So we've just got out the forestry, like through the gate. We've just got the last stretch to come out by the reservoir and that. Dad has a very sad back tyre. We're trying to get him to drive on something a bit softer. So I've picked up Max now. because the lambs that are getting a little bit slow at the back don't like him. When he gets close, they just stop. So I've just picked him up. Peg has gone out around the other side with Bex. We just got the little stretch back home then. You know, missed the best bit.
That's good.
Home now, but the sheep have decided that they are going to go right. Beck will go off and get around them because we've got other sheep, Dartmoor sheep, that are up there, so try and keep them apart now. So we're down the lane. Dad's had to just go and open up all the gates so that we can run them out the lane into the field. Becca tried to take on another half, or third I should say, because they just haven't been walking. So we just brought the show sheep up to have a look at them, make sure they were all alright. Oh, sorry. The Newtake ones got put down there. So I'm just going to tie this gate up, and then we've just got to let a few more sheep out. And yeah.